Thank you very much for inviting me out to Gangplank today. My name is Brian Hill. I'm the Executive Director of Phoenix Fashion Week, and my partner is Abby Brown, Marquis, who's got married actually. She is part of our designers and buyers team. So take you guys back a little bit on the Fashion Week. I'm a designer. I do women's workout apparel. I went to ASU and kind of learned the fashion business kind of backwards by kind of trial and error kind of thing. How's it going? And so from that, I was pretty good at bringing people together and kind of getting people's goals kind of accomplished in the way of fashion while I was making my own mistakes along the way. And from that, we built this thing called Phoenix Fashion Week. And I was just a volunteer in the beginning. There's a bunch of designers that wanted to work together to get more sales at the end of the day. So in our mission, it's bridging designers and buyers. At the end of the day, if you can't get sales, you can't stay in business, you can't hire techies, you can't hire PR people, you can't run a brand. So what we've now evolved to is kind of a boot camp for designers. And so starting on the 14th, you guys should have this little flyer, that flyer, the square one. We started our boot camp off for 4 months. We work around the clock with designers from around the nation that come to Phoenix and learn how to run a better brand. So we teach them how to marginalize things, how to stay in business, how to hire, how to stay focused, how to get rid of things, how to build, etc. And over 4 months, they get ready for Fashion Week in this big launch pad, which is October 1 through 5 at Talking Stick Resort. So I always like to talk about what we've done, but I always like to bring cool videos as well to kind of get some background. But today's brown bag is about how can we intersect fashion and technology. So the things we're always looking for is new ideas, new partnerships, and everyone's volunteering their time, and they're building something together, and hopefully together you guys can have a business that can be a commerce-generating business down the road. So videographers, coders, graphic designers, writers, speakers, PR people, anyone involved in the vertical of fashion and business can work together to build a good fashion business that's going to be effective. So that is what we're here to talk about today. There's no ceiling to what we're trying to do. We just want new ideas and new collaboration partners. So the first video is what we call our recap. This shows everything we did last year on Saturday, the last day of 4 days of Phoenix Fashion Week.
Talking Stick Resort, and the evening's events are just about to unfold.
The winner of the 2012 Zappos.com Emerging Designer of the Year contest. Receiving
the collection I knew was strong, and it's the best one I've done to date. It's still a little bit surreal, but it's exciting. was great. What did you think?
I was
I didn't get to watch it, so I was just backstage. I thought it was amazing.
I was dying over that dress that you wore at the finale. It was absolutely stunning.
I love it. I wish it was mine to keep forever.
So that was a pretty good recap of last year. That was just Saturday night. So you saw how we had the different competitions happening. So Designer of the Year, Model of the Year. You can talk about the different brands that we've partnered with. So we're pretty good at bringing on partners that make sense. So Smart Water, they wanted to do the beauty category, so it made sense to sponsor that Model of the Year. Zappos.com, the biggest e-commerce retailer in the world, made sense to support the emerging designer competition. And Bree Seeley, who won that competition, along with two of our other designers that we found last year in the same time frame that went through our boot camp, they're now being sold on Zappos.com right now. Bree Seeley, Jay House, and Paulie Gibson, you can go on right now and make purchases. So for these young designers, it's tough to invest money and time into a fashion week or to a fashion show. Typically what happens is you guys have a show, you have a party, you have some cocktails, and it's over. And they go, I don't really get any sales out of it. So what we really focus on is the sales part of it. And so for these designers that are getting checks now, they're now being sold around the world. Bree Seeley, being from Seattle, Washington, came down to our desert and said, we need to work with you to get our brand better. And now she's being bought, globally. So those opportunities are happening right now. And we're just, scratching the surface. That's why we were so gung-ho about bringing more tech into the world of Fashion Week, because there's a lot more to be done. I think Brian and I talked briefly a few months ago about writing things for these different designers on their websites, and as you tell their story about their brand, you need some technical writing skills. And if you don't have that, you only cut and sew, you need to partner with someone like that to make it just a little bit better, to get that next level. So that's what we're really looking for. Any questions on this part so far, Fashion Week, what it's about, that kind of thing? And then the other video we want to show you guys is the halfway point of our Emerging Designer Contest. So this is the boot camp that technically starts on June 14th, where we work with them every week on how to write press releases yourself, how to reach out to bloggers, how to bring people in, how to follow through. It's really, really intense for 4 months. But when we get them done with that, they're ready to go. And most of them will say they learned more in that 4 months than they did since design school.
Boot camp is a great experience. It is a lot of work, but Brian and his team know exactly what they're doing. All of our assignments are on point, putting us ready for the next thing. And I'm creating a business in 3 months that it probably would have taken me 3 years to do on my own.
Phoenix Fashion Week put together a great venue for us to really learn this business and launch our brand properly and take all the right steps.
We're at our halfway point in our collection. We've got about half of it done. We're going through our photo shoots, getting everything shot, getting everything prepared. So it's just been a great experience working with the team and the homework and just really building the brand and helping make an exposure. I am unsure of what our homework next is. We're getting assigned today, but I've been doing pretty well with everything, keeping up on all my social media, getting my business plan in order, developing up my marketing plan, everything kind of preparation to turn in our final project in September. What excites me most about going into October and the big event is for an emerging designer like myself, this is our first foray into a huge world that not only includes the Arizona demographic, but as well as the national and international scope. It gives us a chance to meet new customers and meet new people that are very excited about fashion the way that we are, and to create and build and bridge relationships between each other that can hopefully last for a very, very long time.
So that's the boot camp, and we're probably most proud of that. I'm a designer, and she's on the design team, so we spend a lot of time in that area. But just developing designers, we're now developing models. So the next video we'll tell you is our Model of the Year search, sponsored by Smart Water last year. what's great about this is Madison Brown, who won this last year, she's from down the road here in Gilbert, and she was in high school, came on board. Her sister was in high school, graduated. They both tried out for Fashion Week. And from the confidence that we built those guys in 4 months and all the different challenges they had to go through as models, one went on to try out for America's Next Top Model, made it to the last 3 episodes of that show, which is amazing, Tyra Banks, etc. And her sister, the younger sister, Madison, goes on to win Model of the Year the next year, and now she's in the running for the top 5 to be the next guest girl. Again, all from, we feel, confidence that she was built, during going through the Fashion Week. She looks amazing, all those different things happen, but sometimes you need like that extra little push inside to make it happen and go for these different lofty goals. So we'll do the model search.
Models now is to do what they tell you to do because they know what they're talking about. They only have your best interests at heart.
A little nervous, but I'm excited at the same time.
Tells me I should model and tall, slightly easy on the eyes, I believe.
Slightly. Here's another one. I'm going to ask this girl how she's doing. Do you think you have what it takes to be Model of the Year? I do.
So important because with the wrong look or the wrong walk, it can take disaster. That's the main question. Yeah, the walk. They have to have the walk down.
Again, well over 100 different men and women came out on a Saturday to put their best foot forward on the runway. I don't really mess with perfection. Last year was great. We had 4 challenges. You had a runway challenge, a headshot challenge, a print ad campaign for Smart Water, and we also had a social media contest at the end. And those 4 scores total up to the winner. And we're going to do those again. We're going to do it bigger and better. So we have the help of Smart Water, Dolce Salon Spa, a much bigger footprint in the city that we follow their trail. And we're just going to grow it. It's going to be amazing.
We choose models based on being great now as well as what's going to make them even better.
You want them to show that your clothes are wearable, they're fun to wear, and they're going to be comfortable to be in.
Yeah, that's really, that's Fashion Week in a nutshell. It's an easy presentation because you get to see all the cool videos for us. But I'm here to answer questions, anything at all, or if there's something we didn't cover that you guys might saw on the website or something like that. Open table thing, place.
What do you see as the biggest gaps right now with where you're taking Phoenix Fashion Week and how technology will play that role in helping you get there?
That's a great question. So with the young designers, I was a designer, again, ASU, right? There's so many different things you want to get going and do to make the brand correct. So you are watching Donna Karen or Tommy Hilfiger from your seat, but you're a young designer, and you see all the cool things they're doing technology-wise, the apps, the iPhone this, all that stuff, and you just can't figure out which one you should do first. And you don't know where to go to get it done. Correct the first time, affordable, those kinds of things, right? So sometimes people just don't do it. So the biggest gap is, I think, being educated on an environment or a community that is tech savvy. They can sit down, go through something like this, and just say, what am I missing? What can I really do? Who's out there? And that I really trust, because it's all, there's these crazy stories of web designers, for example, that don't do what they really want at the end, it costs way too much, it disappears, all that stuff. So I would say the website, first and foremost, tech-wise. Second from there, it's got to be social media and apps. They want an app for their brand that actually works and again is affordable, and they have no idea where to go to get that. So the bare minimum is a website that they actually can trust someone to design it, make it look like they're aesthetic, and be dependable to actually work. That's how it's. It's a good question.
A follow-up on that, because young designers are typically poor,
Yes.
and you're talking about, and I'm a believer in if you want to do things right, do things in a professional manner,
Mhm.
whether you're poor, you're rich, or whatever. The difficulty I see in that kind of a team up between the designer and the web designer is like, what will the web designer get out of it?
Sure.
Period. It's like
Sure.
you can't, it's hard to hire somebody who's a professional and say, do this for me for free to help me be bigger.
Sure.
So how do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we've done is the videographer that filmed those last two scenes, right? He was a student at College. So pretty much us as fashion are the buffer. So we communicate to the young entrepreneur at that point and say, if you work with some of these young designers, what we're going to do as a fashion team is do everything we can to launch that brand so they can afford you as you develop your skill set. And that's the best example of why Zappos is so important. So when Zappos writes a pretty big check to a collection, they've got some funds now. When you go to the boot camp, we show you how to segment your funds for tech, sewing, fabric, etc. So we're teaching how to actually do it correctly, because when you get a bunch of money, you don't spend it correctly, it's still no good. So we teach them how to actually use the money, but we try and provide a platform for them to make the money so they can actually graduate up to the skill set. And now that same videographer that was in college is now a paid videographer with us, and so he's growing with us. That's the best way. But if a young designer doesn't communicate that correctly to a web person, they're like, no, you know what I mean? Or you get someone who is not really so skilled, and you get the wrong bad information and a bad result, and then it's like a bad experience. So that's what I would think. Hopefully I answered that. It's a long.
A little more of a comment. You were talking about getting it right the first time.
Yes.
That never happens. You teach them to do a little bit, test it, respond, test, respond. Because that's one of the problems that I went to Art Institute Phoenix, and the people that said my first idea is the only idea we're following never got anywhere. So I think you should be a little more what they call agile in your approach.
Yeah. Oh, we 100% are. What we try to do is, I'm going to go back to your question too. We try and get the designer to be able to communicate better. That's the first issue, is communicating what you really, really want on paper, in vision boards, all those different things. Like that's got to happen. But again, going back to, they've got to go to the boot camp to figure out how to communicate their message and their brand, which a lot of times they don't even know. So when you sit down with a web person, they sometimes think that the web person is going to magically understand the brand and the mission, and they really don't. So they're doing the best they can with what they have to work with, and it doesn't sometimes mesh. So this way, if you can communicate the message out of the gate, my color schemes are these, here's my time frames, my mission is this, what matters to me the most is this, what matters the least is this. If that parameter is actually set, you can have so much more success. And then still be agile, like you're saying. That's the way to do it. And then trying to recap on your question, I still believe that sometimes young designers just can't communicate with those skilled people what they really want. And so we're trying to get better at that. But then when someone comes to our gate at Fashion, we are 100% upfront with everyone. Like, listen, you may be doing some pro bono things, you may be doing some budget things. Then we have a list of all those people that are on the pro bono level, budget, and expensive, and then we communicate, here's this person, here's what you're going to get or not get, here's this person. We really communicate those levels so people know what they're doing going in. We don't want anything blind, we want to be completely transparent.
Right.
And we're a little crazy about that transparent part. Because we again, at the end of the day, we want these core designers to measure us on how they sell. You can say you look pretty, everything looks great, you've got great stock, but they're ultimately going to say, we want to sell like Bree Sealy did on Zappos. How can you get me there? And so we have a lot on our plate just to get to there, because they've got life stuff, crazy stuff, designer stuff, diva stuff going on. We've got to fight through all those different things and get them ready and prepared to get an order from Zappos, which is not going to give them an order. All the things have to be buttoned down to get that order.
So what you're saying is you're just connecting the entrepreneur to a network rather than playing the role of a product sourcer?
Yeah, we're definitely doing being the connector first. And my word is completely bond whenever I make a recommendation. So I've got to work with people, know their background, etc. So when I make that connection, we can step away from it and they can go forward. And it's been the best way of doing it. In the beginning, we just gave recommendations all over the place, and it just didn't work out. But it's really tough to get into our network, because when you get in, you've got to be me, and I've got to be you, so to speak. And that's, again, it's the best way to do it. So then you know, as big, grown adults, that what you're getting into beforehand. That's on the other hand.
I was just pointing over his question.
Oh, gotcha.
Do you teach them like project management skills as well?
Yes. So the designers and the models, we keep that in mind, even for both sets of people. We teach the models that they are a brand themselves, so they have to have time management and project management for their portfolios and things like that. The designers, the exact same thing. We are giving them all kinds of work, tons and tons and tons of stuff, and they are stressed out. And over 4 months, we think that some habits start to form that are actually positive habits over that long time, and we just don't give in at all. We're telling them, you should probably quit fashion. Like the first meeting is, you should probably quit before it's all said and done. Only because a certain amount of you aren't going to make it anyway. That's how tough it is. If you make it through it, then you got a pretty good shot, but the shot's still super low. Like, we manage those expectations, big time. And you have to be a better, project and time manager to get through this boot camp at least. Yes?
What's the percentage of people that make it through the camp?
Yeah. So it's higher and higher. All 12 made it through the boot camp this last year, and 2 were horrendous at the end. Horrendous. And we told them that. We have an exit interview with every single person. And so we collected all their homework all year. We take notes on all the things they've done or haven't done. And then we present that to them in an exit interview, one-on-one with them. And so if the notes that we say happened, you know what happened, meaning you didn't turn in homework 6 and 7, right? We had a deal with Zappos where all 12 designers met with the buyers over the phone, conference call style. They said the homework is to put your package together your year and send it to Zappos in Nevada. Here's the address. And in talking to the buyers, one buyer said, I'm a fan of Twizzlers. The other said, I'm a fan of chocolate. When we hung up the phone, I said, they like Twizzlers and chocolate. That they gave you their end right there. That's their tell. And so you got an address, Twizzlers and chocolate in your clothing line. Go. Right? So out of 12, one person didn't send anything. She was one of the 2 that didn't make it at the end. So how could she look across the table at me and say, you guys didn't do enough for me? It's unreal. And actually had that attitude that, what else have you done for me? I was like, you didn't even go for the people that are going to write you a check. The second person had life stuff. The boyfriend breakup, wrecked the car, forgot that. All that stuff happened. And then she didn't have her intern set at the right time because the semester was over a certain date before Fashion Week. She never looked at the calendar to see how long the internship would go. So she lost her sewers. That's life stuff. That's designer stuff. So she didn't do well as well. Those are the 2 people that did that. And it's just funny, that it would get down to that. And so we're trying to communicate this homework and how you did these exit interviews. It's just unbelievable that we still would have 2 people out of 12 that'll fall that far short. And so we now know that we look at those characteristics and we raise it above those 2 for the next year. So anyone that said something like those 2 said in my initial interviews, they can't make it in. That's how we're ruthless about that. And we traveled this year to 8 different cities. San Fran, Diego, LA, Chicago, Dallas, Vegas, St. Louis. And we had meetings like this, and we met with designers like you guys are sitting there. We said all the same things we're saying right now. Trying to, scare, if you will, people into even trying out. How do you want them to try out? If they can't even get past that first meeting grade, that's pretty harsh. And so we're just trying to, leverage our success by having the best out of those many cities. And we did have to go to other cities because we tapped out Phoenix pretty fast. Sorry to say that, but we did. We tapped out. So year 2, we're like, there's no more good designer. There's a few, a small few. And Chuck, he's a designer that's coming up, right, pretty soon. And he's been taking his due diligence, taking his time, because he knows what we do expect. And he and his wife are going to have something together when they're ready, not before. And that's cool. We don't want to waste his time as well as ours. Yes?
So you said one of the buyers mentioned that they like Twizzlers and chocolate. Did you recommend people send them Twizzlers or what?
100%. And people sent, great chocolate, all kinds of Twizzlers, all those things happened, and they took it to the next level. Some people sent like chocolate dolls, like fashion mannequins, you know? Why not? They clearly said it. If you didn't send those things, you're insane. And a third designer, so we got the recap from Zappos. They said, so we got 10 packages. One we know didn't send it. We talked about earlier. The other person that was so, on the bottom, she did send hers in. So there's still one missing. We're like, how can there be one missing still? So a really good designer we felt was in one of the videos you guys just saw. As we went through our list and said who didn't send it in, we found that one of them didn't get it in. And we told everyone tracking numbers 100%. Also, what do you do with the tracking number? You got to track the tracking number, right? It's Zappos. It's not a small room. It's Zappos as a campus in Nevada. So basically, it was sent to a wrong department. But they never checked the tracking number. So for a week, while they were going through all the different packages, they just sitting in St. Louis going, our package is there. We're so happy. We're excited. And on the phone call, I said, you didn't check your tracking number. And you could almost hear the tears come down because a week was lost. How can you get the Zappos person to even think about that brand going in the future if you can't even figure out the tracking number or test it? Because they would have said, oh, it's in Department A, you should go to Department B. And they would have walked over and grabbed it, no problem. But that happens in fashion. That happens in apparel every single day. And again, those are the kind of things that you can't make those little mistakes.
Give a personal card or
Sure. You give everyone cards. Cool. So this is our little gimmick for the day. So if you guys go on your smartphones, go to Facebook and like us right now. We brought 2 Phoenix Fashion goodie bags. We're going to give away right now. It's apparel, guy and girl. So she's tracking it, and the first 2 people that like our page will get the goodie.
They don't have my size.
Oh, I've got your size. Yes, it's facebook.com/PHX Fashion Week. But either way, it goes to it.
I liked it last time.
You liked it last time. I like that.
Like,
First one?
yeah, I guess.
I like the card, but
Like
I didn't say it.
Gotta say it.
Yeah.
Like it, mean it.
That is insane. So, to answer your question, on this card, right here, what was your first name again? Keenan, yes. On this card, on the back is our website, phoenixfashion.com. Just write in Brian at phoenixfashion.com with an I. And I am open 24 hours a day. Just email me. We start talking about ideas today. That fast.
One thing, just think about this, like we do roadmap to launch here with self-hold consultants, and so you've got people who start us of all different kinds, kind of going through that same model as the boot camp that you do. Do you see that being effective for just different, very narrow arenas of startup?
100%.
How do you see that model working?
100%. Well, again, we apply it to the models as well, and we also apply the same techniques to our teammates as well. So it's weird, but I think that our approach is actually can work in any industry, and we are approaching pretty much everything we do like that. And we just had a new partnership with Tony and Guy Hair. They've done London and New York Fashion Week, and our first meeting is just like we do with our designer. We have to roadmap it all out, manage all expectations, and it's really cool. I think we could do some. Could we build a website that way? Probably, if I know how to build a website, but I think we could give it a shot for sure. Everybody get my email address on that?
Yeah, paying attention. It's about fashion. Hey, man.
The next thing that I want to make sure everybody's invited to is this kicks off the Emerging Designer Boot Camp and pretty much fashion season. It's next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, at Tony and Guy Academy, which is about Indian Bend and 101. And you're going to meet designers, you're going to meet buyers, boutique people, models. It's just a cool little area, have some drinks, cocktail it up, whatever, and just kind of see what's going on. And you can go to our website, click on events, and it has all the information there. But at that event, I know the things we're looking for in general. We're looking for, videographers. We're looking for coders, people that can build apps. And the one idea we had with Eric was, how can we include Gangplank and to be one of our partners on the Phoenix Fashion Week sponsor list. And that would mean coming up with something that's Gangplank-esque. I don't know what that is. Is it bringing all the designers in? I didn't hear the joke. Oh, is that scary? Oh, right. So maybe not that. Something like that. But they come in and there's a group here at Gangplank that can offer something in the way the challenge is. Every other Wednesday we have homework and a challenge for 4 months. So what can we do? You know, who knows? We're open to that as well. We've got the Zappos buyers is one homework. We have a media person coming in. We have a bunch of different experts now that are coming in and kind of giving their 2 cents on that particular topic for the week. What have you want to say a little bit about what you've seen and
Yeah, a couple of things. You mentioned life. Life gets in the way. It definitely does. And as you mentioned, my wife and I, she's fantastic at doing, just about anything and everything. And she has been since she was probably started walking. It runs in the family, so they're doing a lot of things. But, it's life. She's a busy executive. I do a lot of traveling, and I'm not going to waste Brian's time. I'm not going to jump into something, and not be able to put time into it. So life is definitely there. The media, the technology, I'm an accountant by trade, so how far away from fashion can you get? But our business is all about tech too, and so this was important to me to come see what actually is Gangplank. I had no idea, I couldn't find the place, but it's very important. There are a lot of things that you can do, a lot of things that are being done currently in the market, and I'm just trying to see what else can be done. I was waiting to hear what fantastic ideas that your team had, so it was going to be really interesting to hear you guys talk. I'm watching this guy over here code right now, and yes, I go to code.org and Code Academy, and I try and learn some coding. So just trying to keep up on it because it's all out there and it's all available, and everybody needs to have as much information or resource as possible. This is a great opportunity for that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Another thing that we did talk about is our Business of Fashion seminar series. So that happens the morning of fashion 3 days in a row. So 9 workshops based on different parts of the fashion industry, the business side. So we're bringing experts from LA to New York. They'll talk about cut and sew, sourcing, web, e-commerce, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so students as far away as Lake Havasu jump in their buses and they come to these workshops. Because again, if you can't really educate everybody on what's going on, they can't get better. They're not going to get better. The trial and error things is kind of not that kind of trial and error, but the trial and error of wasting a year in a collection is over. You've got to get in and really know what's going on to make some educated trial and errors, right? And so that's what we're trying to do. And I'm on the board now for the Department of Education's fashion program, so I help write the curriculum for high school and college fashion classes. And so again, we're trying to educate people before they get there. And so when they get out, they're making it the best, I guess, swing of the bat that they can, and that's important to us. So those workshops, we can always build another, fashion tech workshop within there. I feel would be pretty effective too. Do we have Brady Brown? And then after this last video, I'd like to go around the room and just, if you feel comfortable, tell me your first name and what part of the tech world are you in and what you're kind of working on.
Hang on, pause it.
So, there we go.
I wanted to go on America's Next Top Model. That was always something that seemed so cool to me, was to be on TV and be watched by millions of young girls just to look up to. And I never really knew how to go about it. And then my agency told my sister and I about the Phoenix Fashion Week model search. And that was when it really got me going, like, okay, I'll test this out, see how it is. And I just fell in love with the whole thing, with the runway side of it and just working with other models and learning more about the cutthroat industry. And I feel like Phoenix Fashion Week did a wonderful job of preparing me to grow into the model that I'm still sort of becoming. And I had a blast. Not only did I meet amazing people and learn how important it is to network yourself, but I learned a lot of important skills to take forward. And I feel like without Phoenix Fashion Week, I don't know if I would have made America's Next Top Model.
I like to hang on to that quote. she's sure she'll deal without us for sure, but we're gonna keep that quote. She said it. So I think we have the winners. We'll get the winners stuff up first. Of the lights.
You can't unlike as soon as you win, right? You can't unlike as soon as you win.
How do you say your name? Aisha. Aisha. Yes, winner. David. All right.
David, this is fun.
I need you to do this. I didn't say
Somebody else should be on there.
No, we'll get you on that.
It's not too bad.
Small. Do you want small answer? Okay, if you want to give that one, I will give you one for sure.
Okay, yeah, you wanna give this one?
Yes.
Do that for the next one.
I thought you were wrapping off your purse. I was
Sure.
trying to take that.
You got the seat. So that's our official Nimrock's fashion shirt. So we partnered with the Musical Instrument Museum and did a fashion musical. So maybe let's start on this side. You can just tell me your first name and what you do in the tech world or something.
I have to get up there.
My name is Kayla Love. I'm with Providence Media, and on one side we analyze small businesses and grow them from startup launch phase through growth phase, I don't know phase, redeveloping their antiquated processes to tech-based processes so that we can all the time, anywhere, anytime track. Because tracking is all I care about, is numbers. On the other side, we train interns. We basically do a boot camp style that you have to do from a business analyst or marketing analyst perspective. And we place them as account executives on actual startups and launches to see if they really can hack it as an entrepreneur. And once they graduate, they probably don't want to be entrepreneurs anymore. So it's kind of the same scare tactic to get them scared to go get a job, and then maybe that scares them backwards to be an entrepreneur.
That's cool. I like that.
And again, my name is Aisha Cogborn. I am not a techie. I work with people that are transitioning from employment into entrepreneurship and then helping entrepreneurs to manage ourselves better so that we can stay entrepreneurs and don't have to go back to get a real job. Because no matter how great the business plan is, if we keep getting in our own way, then we're not going to be very successful. You talk about quite a bit with some of the folks on the
Cool.
My name is Lori Ann. I think I'm here under false pretenses because I actually do have the dreaded job. I started out as a developer, been a project manager, systems analyst, business analyst, but my next frontier is user experience design. I've always had a passion for building things that maximize productivity instead of impede it. And I think I was trying to figure out how that could apply to what you're doing. Also, and user experience is not just technology, it's the whole experience of the event and how to make a feeling around an object or event.
Great.
And that's my passion.
That's excellent. Ryan.
Brian LePan. Brian's a writer. Brian's developed a couple of projects with people here, entrepreneur style. I do a lot of mentoring for people, especially in the creative processes, and trying to get them out of the way of themselves. And like you said, when someone comes up to me and says, well, I'm working on this book, but I don't know if I have the time, I always say, well, then don't write it. Thank you, that's enough.
Yeah.
It's like, all of these businesses are hard to get into. You have a 1 in a million chance. And perseverance wins over quality most of the time. And so if you just don't want to do it, you want to come up with any excuse, just go. You're wasting everybody's time. And it's like, people like, literally, like in 5 minutes of mentoring, it's like, really? That's it? It's like, if you're not going to do it, why are we here? You know? And I think that's a message that has to get out there. It's just like, these are things to dabble in. You don't dabble in fashion, you don't dabble in writing, being a professional writer. You don't dabble in life, like do something.
Right.
And so that's where I'm that way. It's like I just got to push forward and create different things. And what I like about what she said is, I forgot her name already. Lorianne. Is that bringing, everything, we live in this tech world where everything is like black and white and solid and everything looks the same. And the one thing I always appreciated about Apple was they brought grace into it. They brought like art into it. I think we need to move from just things that work to things that work nicely.
Yeah.
And that make us happy to work with.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that fashion can add to the tech side.
I agree.
But you're right, that their whole languages, they're totally different. Because like, here's some of the models talking, and I can just hear like David sitting next to her going, oh my God. And then if David would be talking to her, and she'd be going, oh my God. See, there's gotta be a filter somewhere along the way where they can talk to each other. Because like, if they met on the street, neither one would talk to each other.
Well, that was why there was account executives in advertising, because account executives stood between the business people and the creatives and kept things from imploding.
Right, that's true, that's true.
It's okay, I'll talk to models all day.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do that.
only if they talk first. Go on.
That's right.
My name is Chuck Moss, and a couple of things, sort of like you, I've got a job, and a lot of the same things that you've done I do, but just think about in the tax accounting realm, really, really kind of gray or black and white, whatever you want to call it. There's not a lot of creativity, but same thing, you've got project management, product management, you've got design, user experience, trying to make Excel more of a user-friendly experience. It's just, it is what it is. So, but anyway, on that side, my background, public accounting, CPA, so I've got that side of things, and it's really, really interesting that, we're talking about entrepreneurs, and the first thing that entrepreneurs do is go out there and they have lousy accounting. So my pet peeve is always, get your books in order, and, things will run themselves pretty much, but, we don't normally do that. So that's my background. If you're thinking about tax and accounting and CCH or Commerce Clearinghouse, that's me. You do your taxes every year.
It's a freelance job.
Okay.
That's my side job. I have a day job. Work for a real estate developer. Mostly hotels.
Gotcha.
So I'm really interested in how it contributes to our.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Always. The models like getting the pictures taken. Plenty of them. Yeah, excellent. She's passing around a little sign sheet just so we can always get back to everybody. Let us know what you do so I can email you guys back specific things.
My name is Peter, and I'm a user experience developer. I'm also a photographer. One of the projects I'm working on is called ChandlerBoulevard.com, which is a website to connect people, businesses, and events distance from.
Excellent.
I'm Stephanie. I'm at company's Old Avenue, and I do graphic design for print and for apparel.
Cool. What's it called?
Old Avenue.
With the B? Hold on. Cool. Always doing that. You're in.
My name is Ita Udoama. I am the owner of View from Above Entertainment. Specialize in online video production and digital media, whether it's blog content or video content for your blog or developing a web series. I work on all kinds of motion graphics and video for online YouTube distribution.
AI Phoenix too, right?
Yes.
David.
I'm David, and I will talk models. I do software development, and I'm also the leader of the labs initiative here at Gangplank. So 3D printing, laser cutting, anything software and hardware.
Are you doing 3D printing stuff?
Yeah, I'm printing some stuff right now.
Oh, excellent. I heard about it last time. Anybody else? Oh. Keenan.
My name is Keenan Williams. I'm working with Little Media right now, doing some consultation and account management and account executive work. Little Media is a full-service creative marketing firm that specializes in online processes. We offer everything. We offer mobile apps, web design, SEO, photography, videography, everything.
Cool. Put everything down. Yep.
I'm Kevin. I'm a retired plus size man.
Okay, all right.
I'll be there. One of the things, there's kind of a misconception about Gangplank being so tech heavy, where it's really a collaborative thing. So there's a lot of different stuff and a lot of different, most people here, even the people that aren't want to know what those are pretty things. There's a lot of other stuff. So anything like, that, you wanted to do some kind of gangplank model, like an event, I wouldn't see it really as purely like a technical thing necessarily, as more of a collaborative.
Gotcha.
Multiple disciplines coming together.
Right.
But definitely, there's some tech elements for sure, but there's a lot of other stuff. But that's the big thrust here, is really the collaboration.
Okay.
Interdisciplinary kind of thing that makes kind of different.
I like that. I'm glad you explained it.
Yeah, but I've been a freshman for school now.
Cool. Oh, glad you came. On the runway, or?
Yeah, that was, I don't know, it was down in, I don't know what it was. It was crazy though. I mean, you guys did a good job.
Thanks. We're still here. We're still here.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was fun. I mean, if you guys haven't gone, it's worth going.
Right.
Something like that.
That would be some gameplay code by the time we get to fashion for you guys.
Jesse with Dominant Enterprises Incorporated. I'm a systems engineer, so I do everything from server, cloud, security, build robotics, hacking, everything.
I like to do hacking. Cool. Anybody else want to? This is cool. I was for sure very excited to come out and just talk to Brown Bag, and I was fortunate to come a couple months ago, just kind of see the place, and it's not overwhelming at all. I think more people think it is. Like he was just saying that they might think it's just walk in and there's robots moving around, there's no real people, and gameplay, whatever. But I won't be able to communicate that. So we might have a bunch of models coming in here on a regular basis asking, I need help with tech. But yeah, thank you guys very much for having me today.